Welcome and thank you for attending the 12th July 2024 edition of Hotel Staff Gold, Global Organizational Leadership Development. Today's topic is the 5 levels of leadership. This is part 1. At the end of the meeting, we'll ask for participant feedback. Please tell us what you liked and what you want to hear in the future. As these meetings are only 30 minutes long, they're not intended to be a deep dive. Rather, a reasonably short overview of leadership principles meant to be a reminder to keep these concepts front of mind. Note, Dave and I are practitioners. Even with much experience, we don't claim to be experts. We're here to facilitate this gold group where we hope all may benefit. No matter where you are in your leadership journey, never forget that what you got to where you are, how you got to where you are, won't get you to the next level. When people follow a leader because they have to, they will only do what they have to. People don't give their best to leaders they like least.
It's helped me be successful, and I've been fortunate enough to kind of pass this along to some of my other buddies and watch them be successful with it as well. And that topic we're talking about today is leadership. And not just leadership, but continued growth as a leader. That's where it becomes really important. Our goal is to provide a few action steps. And I say action steps purposefully because I want you to take the first 3 letters of that, the ACT, and think of it like this. A, something that you would take action on right now. C, something that you would change that you're already doing. And the T, something that you would teach somebody else in your organization or your family or something of that nature. So that's how you take action. Take that, put it in play. Now, I also wanted to add to you a concept of Ford. Ford helps me bring it across all levels of what I'm doing or across everything that I'm thinking about. Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and or destination where you're trying to get to. And so everything rises and falls on leadership within your family, your occupation, recreation, destination. But again, we're going to start with some of these fundamentals. And the reason I like the fundamentals, going back to the football piece, because I was a coach for a while, Vince Lombardi said, fundamentals make you improve ASAP. So let's dive in a little deeper. But I want to talk to you about the actual 5 levels of leadership at this particular moment. And the first level is called position. There you're granted rights to be leader. People follow you because they have to. The title of leadership shows up at that point. You actually have a seat at the table. You've been granted, voted, or you won the position. Now you have a seat at the table. So this is a great place to start. You're transitioning from people having to be with you to wanting to follow you, right? You also have to connect here. You have to make sure that you connect with your people. And that's your move to make as the new leader. You can't wait for them to do it. You have to go connect, right? Go talk to your team. Go see what's plaguing them. See what hurdles and roadblocks are in front of them right now and actually producing what they're supposed to produce as part of the team. One of the pitfalls is if you stay too long at this particular level, your influence potential degrades to intimidation.
Making people feel a part of, that's all part of it. So hospitality being about relationships, for me, what I learned in my process was that servant leadership, and we use that term a lot, it gets floated around a lot more these days, but being selfless, as the Jesuits say, being a man for others, right? Being an individual for others. You can't possibly be a leader if you don't care about others. So with the tide, all ships rise, right? You don't have to necessarily be granted a positional authority in an organization to take a role of leadership. In fact, in many cases, you can be a leader by exemplifying leadership traits. You can care about others and achieve, instead of achieving a positional relationship, take a position of being a person for others and achieving objectives without maybe necessarily the authority. And in many cases, Dave and I experienced this in the military. I've experienced this in the hospitality industry where, I might not have a position of authority, but that doesn't necessarily mean I can't exemplify a leadership role. So when I help others to get what they want, I get what I want too. But if I set out with the goal of getting what I want, not caring what anybody else wants, people sense that and they won't follow you. You can be in a positional authority and ultimately have nobody wanting to follow you. They'll follow you just as long as they have to, but you could tell whether somebody follows you at a deeper level and you have achieved a more advanced level of authority in your leadership role when you ask people to do things voluntarily. If people volunteer, right, because they believe in you and they know that you care about them, that's how you can tell on a Friday when you say, hey, listen, we got a little bit of an extra bilking. You're going to need people to stay later. We're going to need people to give a little bit extra of themselves to get through this objective. And they don't have to, but they do anyway. That's how you can tell that you're on the right path.